Hi, this is Wendy Bovard. I'm coming back to you with another video on domestic violence. Today, I want to talk about why the abuser abuses. They have a disorder. A small number of the population is antisocial personality disorder. This is considered a sociopath or a psychopath. These disorders gain pleasure from seeing other people in pain and even more pleasure when they are the ones inflicting the agony. For them, abuse is a means to an end. They abuse others to gain personal pleasure. They were abused. Some abusers act out their dysfunctional behavior on others because it was done to them. So true. In a subconscious effort to dissolve their own abuse, they do the same to others. This type of abuse behavior is identified, meaning it matches almost exactly to their childhood experiences. They were abused. Just like the previous explanation, they abused because it was done to them. However, in this case, the victim is the opposite. For instance, a boy who is sexually abused by a man may grow up and sexually abuse girls as evident that they are not homosexual. The reverse can be true as well. They watch something. With the advances in technology comes additional exposures at a young age to gratify abuse. Some movies, songs, TV shows, and videos mimic abuse by making fun of it or making it seem normal when it's not. A typical example of verbal attacking on another person by name calling and belittling, that happens all the time. They have anger issues, yes. Uncontrolled and unmanaged rage frequently produces abusive behavior. The source of this anger varies, but is usually tied to a traumatic event. Unresolved trauma sparks anger when triggered by a person, circumstances, or place. Because this anger comes out of nowhere, it is much harder to control and manifest abusively, meaning they can't control their anger, because sometimes they might be in their own head thinking about what happened to them while they were growing up. They grew up with an addict. An addict blames others for the reasons they engage in their destructive behavior, while the victims are often forced to remain silent and accept their behavior. The end result is a lot of pent up anger and abusive behavior. As an adult, the victim subcategory subconsciously seeks out others to blame for their actions. Oh yes, it's always the blame game. You did it. You made me do it. I hurt you because you wanted me to. No, I didn't, you dummy. You hurt me because you're an idiot. That's what women are thinking, because at some point you stop believing they're junk. And you see, and I said this in one of the other videos, it's no longer about, oh, it's me, there's something wrong with me. No, there's something wrong with you. And that's when it's time to pack up. They have control issues, yes, because they could not control what happened to them while they were growing up. There was no control as a child. You couldn't get up and pack when you had an abusive parent. So what did you do? You stayed. You had no choice. Unless, of course, you go to the police and you go live with another relative. They don't understand bad boundaries. Abusive people tend to lack the understanding of where they end and another person begins. They see their spouse child, friend as an extension of themselves, and therefore that person is not entitled to have any boundaries. The lack of distance means a person is subject to whatever the abuser decides. They are afraid. People who do and say things out of fear tend to use their emotions as justification for why another person needs to do what is demanded. It is as if the fear is so important or powerful that nothing else matters except what is needed to subdue it. The lack of empathy, they have none. It is far easier to abuse others when there is no empathy for how the victim may feel. Some types of head trauma, personality disorders, and environmental trauma can cause a person to lack the ability to express empathy. They have a personality disorder. Just because a person has a personality disorder does not mean that they will be abusive. However, the lack of an acute perception of reality greatly contributes to abusive relationships. If a person is unwilling to see their behavior as abusive, then they will keep doing it. They are defensive. Defense mechanisms, sorry guys, mechanisms such as denial, projection, regression, and suppression are utilized when a person is backed into a corner. Instead of taking space, they come out swinging and retaliate in an abusive manner. An abusive person may have some or all of these qualifications depending on the circumstances. Remember that if you are in an abusive relationship and it has gotten bad, it's time to leave. Pack your clothes up, pack your kids up, and get out of Dodge. And that is why they abuse. And trust me, I lived through domestic violence. And yes, I know that yeah, a lot of the stuff that was written does resonate in my spirit about what happened in my relationship. But for now, stay safe. And if you need to leave, nowadays they have all kinds of shelters and places for women to leave their abuser. God bless you and stay safe until the next time.